Welcome back to my channel, Pretty Inspired Decor. My name is Shelley and I'm just thrilled today to show you how I'm going to create a centerpiece right before your eyes. And I'm going to show you another one that I've already created, and you can actually mix and match these centerpieces, take pieces of them out and move them in other centerpieces, which is what I like to do for my table when I'm entertaining guests, or just to have on my table for everyday use and for everyday prettiness. So I'm going to start with this pretty lantern. You'll notice it's a beautiful forest green. I have already started the lantern. So what I have put inside of this lantern, I'll have you have a peek, is I have just a beautiful glass red tree inside of it with a little bit of fake snow, with a little puffy snow, which is really, really pretty. Now this particular lantern does light up, or this tree I should say does light up, but the problem with it is that I'd have to open it all the time, you know, lift it up because it's got batteries, and unfortunately it's not remote. So, you know, I may do that for a dinner party if I leave it on the table, or I may just leave it as it is because, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to light up. Then what I've done, if you take a look here, is I've added some berries. So these berries I bought at Michael's. They're so pretty. They're frosty. They almost look like they have ice on them, and a couple of really pretty, you know, dark green leaves that really match this so beautifully. So all I'm going to do there is I'm just going to hook them in on the sides like that. And they'll look beautiful. And you'll notice I've also unfurled them a little bit because they were closer together and I thought they looked nicer if they were opened up a little bit. So that's how I start this particular lantern. Now some of the things that you will need to create this lantern is obviously a lantern, something to put inside the lantern. I do like to put something on the base, and in this case, as I said, I've already put some snow. I have added these little picks. I have a tray, a very inexpensive tray. This is something I just had laying around the house. Not a great tray at all. And again, I filled it with snow, and I've left a little space here because inside of it, I'm going to put this tea light Santa. We'll just pop him in here. He'll be so pretty in there. And then I've got some green balls. I'll just pop those in there for now. I'll sort them out later, exactly what I'm going to do with them later. And I'll move this to the side. I also have this really pretty pit berries. Notice it's got bells on it in the whites and the red, and some really pretty green in it as well. So it's just lovely, and I'm just going to have that draped over the side and coming down this way after I put my bow on it. So I'll just move this to the side as well. If you take a look at the fourth video that I created on how to, you know, decorate a lantern, that was a 16 loop bow. And the other lantern that I'm going to show you when I finish this particular one has a 12 loop bow, but I've decided for this lantern that I only want a 9 loop bow because I don't want to sort of overwhelm. That's a pretty small tray, so to put a great big bow in it would really detract from the snowman, and from this really pretty lantern. It's such a gorgeous lantern. They have these this year at Pier 1. It's not too often you can find this gorgeous, dark, rich green. So the ribbon that I've chosen to use, one of them says, "Let it snow." I also have this really pretty red ribbon that has snowflakes on it. And these snowflakes are almost kind of felty. It's so pretty. And I have this really pretty, glistening white. It looks almost like snow. It's so pretty. And I've already dovetailed the ends on 2 of them. So I'll show you how I dovetail the ends on these 3. If possible, I try to put all of them together and I just dovetail my ends all at the same time. You don't have to do it that way. I mean, some of you may find it easier not to dovetail your ends all together, and that works too. I have some scissors that are the type so that your material doesn't fray, and I really do like these because I will use these ribbons over and over again. There's nothing worse than pulling stuff out and seeing a frayed ribbon, because it really means you know, you can't use them anymore because they look like a mess. So I do like to use these pinking shears so that none of that happens. Obviously I have regular scissors as well, and a little pipe cleaner for when I tie the bow together, put the bow together. These ribbons are cut in 20-inch lengths because I don't want a lot of tails hanging on this one. And then I have finally this 40-inch, and you can make it 40, 42, 45, whatever the case may be. And this one will be to actually tie the ribbon, or the bow I should say, onto the actual lantern. Now the good news about this red ribbon is it is double-sided, so it's, you know, quite easy to work with. And this one, you know, is kind of double-sided, but not really. But this one is not, and neither is this one. It's always easier if you can use double-sided ribbon, but again, it's not easy to find double-sided ribbon all the time. So, you know, you can use any kind of ribbon you want. I like to use ribbon that's wired because the ribbons just stand up so much better, and they store better as well. So you'll notice I have a cutting mat here and a measuring mat. This is one of those self-mending mats, which is really cool to work with if you're going to use cutters at all on it. I'm going to make these 6-inch bows, so I just measure at 6 and puff it out. Then, and I'm going to do this so that you can see it well, then you take the back bow and you flip, or the back tail, sorry, and you flip it forward so that you always see the front of the ribbon. Go to your next one and again measure it 6 inches, put it beside it, okay, fluff it out a little bit, and twist the back one. Okay, very, 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 very simple. If you watch my video number 4, you know that I learned this technique from Arlene, and she has a wonderful YouTube channel called Arlene's Country Crafts. My goodness, she makes these things, you know, like she was born making them. They're so beautiful. So look at how pretty that is. So you notice these 3 are going up. Now I'm going to take my pattern again, and again you always put it in half, measure it 6 inches, and now I'm going to start to go down. Yeah, I think I'll go that way. So go down, again, fluff it out, turn the back one forward so that all of your tails are facing the same direction. That's really the key to this, to have your tails all facing in the same direction. It's easier when you do it yourself because you're not doing it for anyone else, and you can actually look at it and see it better. I know I'm getting a little quiet here, but I think you get the drift on what I'm trying to do. So again, we had 3 going up, and now we're doing 3 going down. This red ribbon with the snowflakes, it's nice thick ribbon. It's such good quality. It's so, so pretty. But again, the thickness makes it, you know, a little tougher to work with, especially if you're working with it a little bit backwards like I am. Using good quality ribbon, you know, always makes such a difference. A lot of this has been in my stash. I keep a lot of ribbon in my house, and when I saw this lantern and I saw that snowman, by the way, I got the snowman at Pier 1. When I saw that snowman, I thought, ooh, what ribbon am I going to use? And before going to buy anything, I thought, why don't I just check my own stash? And lo and behold, I happen to have these 3 ribbons, so that was a good thing. So I've got 3 up and 3 down. So the next ones, I will put them all going up. Again, it wouldn't matter if you had the next 3 going down. It really doesn't matter where you put these next ones because they all work out in the end, especially if you start off with 3 going up and 3 going down. Okay, that one going there, I'll have this one going here. God, I love this red ribbon. And you take your ribbon, your pipe cleaner, and you put that right between your fingers, okay? Right between your fingers. And you bring it between the 2 of them. And as Arlene says, you pull tight, 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 and you twist them together. Twist, twist, twist. Look at how easy that is. Then the fluffing doesn't begin because you've been fluffing all along, but the fluffing continues. Fluff, fluff, fluff. That's what makes your bow beautiful. Fluff, fluff, fluff. Like, look at how pretty that little bow is. You don't have to have a big bow. You don't have to have a swag. You know, little bows work, big bows work. I love them all. Again, in my 4th video, you saw quite a swag, and I'll show you another one shortly that's quite a swag, because I like to have that variety. Then I take this 40-inch ribbon. Again, it can be a little longer depending on the size of, this isn't a large piece to wrap around, but if you have a larger piece, you might want to go as, 45 inches. I don't want a huge tail on the back. So I take it and I fold it approximately in half. And then I just fit that into the pipe cleaner like this, and then twist the pipe cleaner again. Now you can choose, if you like, to cut the pipe cleaner. I don't. I find that they hide nicely, especially if you use the color of a pipe cleaner that sort of disappears into the ribbon. You don't need to worry about it. Once it's all nicely fluffed, again, fluff, 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 fluff. Not particularly tough, but just has to look the best it can look. And you can do some more fluffing once you get it onto your lantern or wherever else you're going to put it. I know when you saw my cozy corner, you saw that I had some funky bows in some pretty unexpected places, which is fun, right? They don't have to necessarily be attached in the way that traditional bows might be attached. I like to do things different. I like to think a little bit differently about how I'm going to decorate. So here's this pretty lantern. You just take it and you tie. I like to tie it right into this piece here, okay? So that the top part of the lantern is sort of set free. Take my little picks and put them to the side. Now this is quite interesting. I'll just sort of move it this way. You tie yourself a really pretty little bow. Again, it's nice because this ribbon is 2-sided, so it works out so beautifully. I take left over right and tie it up and knot and pull it as tight as you can. The right bow brought over with the left bow and up, and just tie the bow very, very prettily and sort of fluff that out as well. So pretty. I like it so when people look at the back of the lantern, especially if it's sitting on a table, that even the back looks pretty. See, even the back of this looks pretty. You have the little beads hanging or the little picks hanging with the little icy berries. See how pretty that is? And then the lantern stands up beautifully. So you see, that isn't a lot of work. These are just, inexpensive glass balls. You don't have to use. You can really put anything in the bottom of your tray. I don't want to cover the tray entirely. Some people like to put florals in the bottom. That's certainly lovely as well. But I thought, this is so pretty the way it is. I could even leave this little piece out into the winter here because, as I said, we have a lot of snow here in Canada. So there's no reason that this couldn't stay out for the month of January and even the month of February because we have so much snow and it would still look pretty. And if you did, you know, you might take out the Christmas balls, but look at how simple this is. Put a couple here, put one in the back, maybe a couple more here. Look how simple that is. And another one in the back. Like, that is just so pretty. And when you see my Christmas kitchen tour, you will see where I'm going to have this. And initially, I think when you see it, I don't think I'll put this one on the table. I think I'll put this on the counter because I think it'll be pretty there. But this could certainly easily be slipped in to the table. And I know over the course of, you know, my season, I will certainly ultimately move this to the table for, you know, one function or another that I do. So let me move this to the side now that you're seeing that vignette. And now I'm going to show you another centerpiece. One other final thing that you would add. Whoops, got this caught on my shirt. Once you've got everything in place, and you don't have to have the baubles in place at this point to do this, I just take this, you know, this pretty pip berries with the bells, just pop that in, and then I just love to go with the natural flow of this garland. Look at how pretty this looks. Sorry for my back. I know you're seeing my back. Look at how gorgeous that is. Inside the tray, wraps in front of the lantern and around the snowman, and that just finishes that off. So I have this gorgeous sleigh. Now this sleigh was purchased at Pottery Barn. Like, isn't it fabulous? Look how lovely it is. It's just so pretty. And I've often used it as a serving piece with some cheese or whatever. It's really nice quality wood. It's really pretty. And I don't want to cover up the wood because I like that it looks, you know, pretty much like a sleigh. And what I have is I have some little felt snowflakes. Again, we have a lot of snow here, so you may as well go with the theme. But I just have 6 of them scattered onto this tray. Then I have created already this really fun, I'm going to turn it this way. I want to put my back to you. Look at how pretty that is. Lantern. This is an inexpensive lantern. You don't have to spend a lot of money on a lantern. This one was more money because it came from Pier 1. And I think I got this one at Hobby Lobby some time ago. But anyway, it's pretty. And if you take a look at it, I'll bring it up closer to the camera so you can see. You'll see I have a little boy and a little girl. They represent my little Tennyson and my little Ayla. And at the back of it, again, so that there's some dimension, I have a little book that says Merry Christmas. And I actually have a couple of ornaments hanging in there as well. And I have 2 of them that work together beautifully. On the front it says Holly Jolly Christmas, and on the back that ornament actually has an old world Santa face on it. So that's pretty. Again, this one has lights, and you know, the thing that's funny is these aren't Christmas lights. These are little heart lights. I bought them at Pier 1 last year on their clearance table. And you know, Pier 1 lights can be pricey. They're worth the money though. They really are worth the money because they have timers and they have remotes, so they're wonderful. So what I did is I took an old watch box, that's all this is, and I wrapped it up with some really pretty wrapping paper. It says Joy and Noel, and it works. Look how beautifully it works with this. So I'll pop that here. In front of that box, I have these 2 wooden candlesticks. Look how pretty they are. They're so pretty, and I've got some, again, remote candles in them. These candles are from Michael's, who also has remote candles. Like, remote candles change my world, because if you've got remote candles, then you know you're not running around turning everything on by hand, right? It just makes such a difference. Then I have this little Santa. He's a nice bright red, and I'm just going to choose, I think, to put him here. Look how nice that'll look. I think that'll work. I have to come around and sort of see if it's working. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think that works really well. So you'll notice this particular lantern. I've chosen because I've got such a nice big tray that I can easily make a swag, and this swag has some white berries and some bright red berries, and then this really pretty glitzy frond type of thing. I just love it. And then the lights. So this is one version, sort of the over-the-top version to put on your table. Obviously, if you're going to have guests on both sides of the table, you would have to either move it or change it up. And I think what I'll do is I'll take some of the taller elements off, and I'll just change it up, and I'll show you when I show you how I set a table, how you could actually do that and still keep this pretty tray and keep some of the elements on it, but obviously you have to take some of the taller elements off. So until we see each other next time, I hope that if you have not already done so, that you subscribe to my channel, that you give me a thumbs up because you know that I like it. Please hit that notification bell, because that's the only way you're going to find out if I have more videos, and I'm going to have lots of them. And I also want to remind all of you that this entire series is dedicated to my good friend Melissa, who passed away, well, almost a year ago. And I hope I've inspired you to create something pretty for your home. So until next time, bye-bye.